Hi again, it's Ryan Miller with Etna Interactive. We're going to talk today about some important changes that have happened on Google that affect local searches. Now, this may be a tough topic for some of you to connect with. You know, the reality is, I think we've all got a little change fatigue when it comes to Google. There's been so many shifts since June of this year, June of 2013, that it's tough to take some of these changes seriously. The dust is starting to settle a little bit, and things are looking like there's a new normal emerging at Google. And I want to talk today about what that new normal looks like and how it's going to affect both the strategies and the tactics that are employed to win your way onto Google's first page. Now, I've got a picture here of Michael Phelps, and why exactly is important? I think it's really two reasons. First and foremost, really we're looking at someone who is a game changer. In a lot of ways, the game at Google has changed. But more specifically, I love this quote from Michael Phelps. If you want to be the best, in this case, if you want to be one of the top clinics listed on the first page of Google for searches that matter to you, then you have to do things that other people aren't willing to do. In this case, it's really about adapting to and responding to the change by marketing yourself online in new ways. Now, there's two primary things that have changed in recent times at Google, especially as it relates to local searches, those being searches that contain regional keywords, like references to the city or cities that you serve. Number one is that in the maps-based results or local results, Google is demonstrating a new bias towards physical location. Now, what that means is that historically, as we saw searches for let's say a dermatologist in Boston, and I'll use that example here in just a minute, very often in the map results, we would find search results that were not only in Boston proper, but in the areas and the cities that surrounded the downtown Boston area. And today that's just not the case, and I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. The other thing that's happening is that the battle for first page rankings for regional or local searches really has heated up. And today we see that Superpowers, these big national and regional players that didn't formerly occupy first page real estate, well, now Google is rewarding them because of their authority, because of their power with first page positions. So let's use this example here. I mentioned a moment ago we're going to look at dermatologists in Boston. I use the plural in this particular search. And what we see right away, even in looking at the first three listings, we see health grades up there, a variety of national players, some regional listings. But let's zoom in and take a look at what the new kind of first page of Google looks like, especially for these categorical searches where I'm looking for dermatologist or plastic surgeon or plastic surgery or bariatric surgeon. So first I want to call attention to the local results. Now, very often you'll hear myself or my staff refer to this as the 7-pack. Sometimes it's a 5-pack or a 3-pack. Now, these results are different from the traditional organic search results. These are local listings taken from Google's Google Plus Local, and they're business profiles. And what's interesting to note here is that these are only Boston area business. Now, that makes sense. I think you're probably saying because I searched for dermatologists Boston. But historically, we saw that there were, if we went back 3 to 5 months, not just Boston area clinics, but also clinics from the surrounding areas whose address did not have Boston as the city, but were nearby to Boston. And anymore, it seems like no matter what we're doing, especially in major metropolitan areas, we really can't force Google to give us business results outside the city. Now, this is that bias that I mentioned early on in the presentation, that they're really looking closely at physical location. And they're struggling with the idea of service area businesses whose customers are willing to drive, or mobile businesses who drive to their customers. So today, when someone searches for something in Boston or San Francisco, Dallas or Miami, they're pretty much going to get businesses whose location is not just in the city, but specifically near the business center of that city. Google's able to determine that right now. Now let's look at the rest of the site. All of those things that I've just highlighted in yellow those are the superpowers. That was the second thing I talked about at the beginning of this presentation. These are major power players both nationally and regionally. So we see things like Boston Magazine, which is a regional media outlet, as well as major national players like Health Grades and Yelp and ZocDoc, large companies, large websites who have a significant amount of authority based on their total size, the number of pages, and their focus. Now, if you're noticing, I've already highlighted about 80% of the real estate on the first page that's going to these superpowers and exclusively local area businesses, and we see a new kind of local business emerging on the first page as well. The two listings I've just highlighted in red there are local hospitals, local healthcare networks, and interestingly, we see these increasingly showing up on the first page of Google. Now, if you think about it, historically, hospitals and healthcare networks, they've not been big players in the optimization game. They haven't been focused on earning first page rankings for their specialties or their procedures in many cases. And what's happened is because of the authority, the size, the scale of these regional websites, we really do see that they're popping onto the first page of Google, even if they haven't optimized for specific specialties or procedures. Now, what we're left with is one position, this one at the very bottom of the first page. This happens to be one of our clients that is a dermatology clinic located outside of the city of Boston. Now, this story, what you see here is, I think, fairly informative of the changes that have happened recently, where much of the real estate is going to these big power players. The local 7-pack is listing businesses in the proper city, and we're fighting now for less real estate when it comes to getting on the first page of Google. So how do we adapt our tactics, not only to take the fewer spaces that are available, but potentially to leapfrog, to jump over some of those businesses and some of those national power players that are occupying real estate further up on the page? Well, when it comes to search engine optimization, again, those were the organic rankings we just saw, the top 3, the bottom 7 results. Really, we want to focus in on not just the specialty, because that's where we see the greatest amount of competition. That's where we see more of the hospitals showing up. That's where we see more of those major national players coming in, is searches where we combine a medical specialty like plastic surgeon, dermatologist, bariatric surgeon, fertility specialist, combining that with the region. We really have to press harder on the SEO effort for those keywords, because we've got new people who are being rewarded by Google with high rankings. In addition to that, when we want to rank well, and your business doesn't happen to be located in the city of the keyword that we're using. So in this particular case, if you're outside Boston and you want to rank well for Boston searches, that's the other area where we really have to rely on organic search engine optimization efforts. We have to press even harder there, because it's less likely today that will be featured in the map results. Now, the other thing that's happening is looking at how the local results, those map results, are being chosen by Google. And there is an increased importance on both localized content, so adding content that references those cities and regions in your service area, but also earning citations, earning mentions that include your business's name, address, and phone number, both on industry and on regional websites. Now, the last big opportunity that we have is about piggybacking on some of those national players. Now, some of the things you saw there were things like the U.S. News website or the Boston Magazine website in that example. Well, those were both stories featured at those media outlets that were highlighting the top doctors in the market. We saw other examples that included rating and review websites. Well, those are places that we can go, that you can bring your clinic and try to earn your way onto those third-party websites as a way of capturing kind of an indirect first page listing on Google and gathering traffic, getting leads and referrals for that effort. Now, for those of you that are kind of the DIY marketers, you're saying, what can I do myself? What can I do to help out? Well, focusing on cultivating reviews is more important than ever. I realize this is a topic that we've been talking about for many, many years, and you may be tired of hearing about it. But again, the importance of ratings and reviews keeps climbing. It's not diminishing. And those ratings and reviews can influence whether or not you show up on the local maps result, those 3, 5, or 7 packs that we talked about a moment ago. In addition to that, leveraging your local relationships and your local activities to earn citations, promotions, to build new content, to get links from other sites in your market, and then talking about those relationships, those activities, or just talking about how your services are relevant to people inside your service area by expanding your localized content. You might do this on your social media. You might expand and talk about your local activities on your blog. All of the things that you can do to help yourself in this sort of new Google world order. Now let's kind of pull back around here and let's remind ourselves how we started. We were talking about how Michael Phelps really changed the game. Google's really changed the game on us, and how his quote talked about the winners are the people who are willing to do more. We've got to recognize the fact that Google's raised the bar. And it's made things especially challenging for service area businesses, people who are trying to draw from a wide region or who are located just on the edge of or just outside of a major city and who are hoping to rank well within that city. So focusing your search engine optimization efforts in new ways and working to cultivate new kinds of localized connections and localized content are really what's required today for us to continue to earn and hold positions on Google first page. Now, that said, if you do want to learn more, I encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter if you have not already. Be sure to follow us on Facebook as well. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.